Hi, everyone. It's Denise Brown from the Caregiving Years Training Academy, and I'm thrilled and delighted to introduce you to one of our newest skills consultants, Kathy Murri. Hi, Kathy. How are you?
Hi, Denise. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. Kathy is one of our certified caregiving consultants, and she is also one of our skills consultant. For those who are going through our certified caregiving consultant training program, they will connect with Kathy for a 1 hour one-on-one session. And the focus of your time with Kathy is to learn about relationship building and grieving. The reason that Kathy, one of our CCCs, is now also one of our skills consultants is because of the relationship she built with me. That's why she is our relationship builder expert. So oftentimes people will reach out to me for what they want from me, but Kathy really reached out to me in order for us to create together. So we co-facilitate a grieving support group twice a month, and we've done several virtual events that around healing that have just been amazing, which is why she's also our grieving skills consultant. So Kathy, when I approached you about becoming a skills consultant, why did you say yes?
Well, I was so honored to be asked to be a skills consultant because I know you've built an extremely wonderful training program, and to be part of it is really exciting. But I do have particular passions for both of those topics, for grieving and for relationship building. And I'm happy to try to get people thinking about those things and share what insights I have and see what insights they have about that to try to bring those skills along further or point them to resources or whatever they might need.
So for many of our participants in the CCC training program, they are going to start a small business and they are adding consulting services with family caregivers as part of or the entirety of their small business. And in order to be successful as a small business owner, it's important to really focus on relationship building. So we have a networking skills consultant, and that's Deb Hallisey, and she helps our students with their networking skills. And the relationship building is part of networking. So you meet someone and then you build the relationship with them. And it's something that happens over time. Sometimes, if you're lucky, the relationship can turn into something amazing right away, where you co create together and you feel like this is really a great collaborative partner. Sometimes it takes time, and that's okay too. What have you learned about relationship building, Kathy, that's been helpful for you?
I think it's really important to keep an eye on why the relationship would be beneficial to both of the parties. To think about what the advantages of your being part of their life or their circle of friends or a circle of business contacts or a circle of care would be valuable to them, as well as what their being a part of yours can bring to you, and to try to really work on making sure that you draw on those am I trying to think of those relationships, those strengths to build something together, because often what you're getting out of building a relationship is that you're both in a stronger place because of it. You both have more resources or more skills or whatever because of it.
So it's the win win win. There's the
It
individual,
is.
yeah, the individual win and then the collective win, which I think is so important that oftentimes people miss that part of it.
Mhm.
In addition, you're also our grieving skills consultant. And
I am.
grieving is something that you and I have really focused on throughout 2020 and into 2021. We see the grief as part of a caregiving experience. We know that grief starts at time when you notice that there is something that might be wrong with your caree, or when there's been that significant medical event, or when there's been a diagnosis. And so grieving continues throughout the experience. We also know that grieving happens after caregiving. So tell us about your passion around supporting those who are grieving.
Um, I'd be happy to. I often say to people I work with, I have a passion for grief, and it strikes them very strangely, but I think there's so much we haven't recognized about grief and about the effect it has on people. I think, we understand that when someone passes away and they leave a person's life, that naturally there'll be grief there, but the range of responses people have to that are so different. And as we've seen, sometimes people respond right away, sometimes they respond many years later. Um, there's such a process of incorporating that loss into your life. And in addition, as you mentioned, often from the moment you realize that you may become a caregiver, you're engaging in anticipatory grief. You're thinking about the loss that's coming, and you're thinking about how that's going to affect you. And certainly right now, especially in the pandemic, there's so much pervasive grief. There's so much grief of our lifestyles and of our ability to see people and everything. So I think that it's really a good time to be talking about grief and learning about how it affects us and how it might affect other people, because we just can't escape it. You can't escape it anyway in life, but right now it's really at the forefront of people's minds.
Something we talk about in the CCC training program is that everyone is a family caregiver. So we have an expectant caregiver stage that's part of the 6 stages of caregiving, which is really the foundation of our CCC program. And that really pivots us not to look at, oh my gosh, it's hard to find family caregivers, but that really reminds us that we are surrounded by family caregivers. There are individuals who we can serve who are in different stages of their caregiving experience, some in the expectant stage. And I also think now that we've had so much pain in our individual lives, I think we can look at every individual we know as someone who is grieving. They've experienced some loss. And it might be that they haven't tapped into the idea that there is a loss in their life for which they are grieving. And our work as consultants then can help open up the conversation around grief as a part of our day and how do we support each other during that grief. What do you think about that perspective that in many ways we're all in the midst of a grieving experience?
I agree with you that I believe that that is the case. And I think it's insightful of you to say that I think some people have not realized that they're grieving. I look at a lot of range of emotions of anxiety that people are having. And really, I think about it that it's really anticipatory grief. What are you anxious about? You're anxious that something's going to change. You're anxious that someone's going to get sick. You're anxious that someone, could pass away from this. You're anxious, about all those things. And really, it just comes back to the loss part and the grieving part.
Yeah, I think that's such a critical perspective to have. And if we know that we are grieving, then we are on the way to healing because that insight helps us think about our emotions in a different way. It's that permission to take care of ourselves because we are grieving.
That's exactly what I was thinking when you were talking, because once you know once you recognize that that's what you're doing, then you can put a plan into place for taking care of yourself.
Absolutely. Kathy, I'm thrilled and delighted that you are part of our skills consultant team. You're going to be an amazing resource for our participants who come through the CCC program.
Well, thank you, Denise. I'm really, as I said, honored to be a part of it, and I look forward to meeting um, uh, CCCs as they pass through the program.
Thanks everybody so much for watching. I'm Denise Brown, and reach out to me if you have any questions about enrolling in our Certified Caregiving Consultant Training Program. I'm always happy to connect with you. You can send me an email, and the email address to connect with me is below this video. Feel free to reach out to schedule a time to connect with me and talk out what your concerns are, what your goals are, and how our training program might help you. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye-bye.